Hey y'all, trying to get out of the sun. Sun's shining through the trees there. How y'all doing today? So I'm out here. It's a little late today. I actually let them out earlier. I was laying in bed and I heard some god-awful noises coming from the coop and I'm like, what in the world? So I run down here and Rose was inside the coop or inside the hen box trying to lay an egg, and Rose likes to be in there by herself, and Mary was on top of the hen box trying to get in, and Rose wasn't having it. So there was all kinds of clucking going on out here. It was so funny. I was just like, y'all are crazy. So I went ahead and opened up the run and let them out in it. So they've been out in the run all day long, and I finally got out here and got all their stuff cleaned up. I had to bring more food out and all that good stuff. And y'all, like, chicken poop's no joke. It's awful. It is awful cleaning it. I could not imagine not cleaning up every day, because some people wait and do it like once a week or once a month, or they just put straw down and let that all just gather. Oh, no way, no way, no way. I could not imagine not cleaning the coop every day. I could not imagine not doing that. We got a really good system worked out, and everything. Hey, Jessica, everything I've read is like, y'all, you got to clean your coop every day. And sure enough, I can't imagine not cleaning it every day. So even when you have little babies, and I think once they got about 4 weeks old or so, I mean, you got to clean out. You know, when I first got them, I would take because I do put the chips in when they're babies. I would take the little chips, and when they'd poop on them, I'd clean it up and have a little garbage can. Well, next thing you know, it got bigger and bigger, and it was to the point where I was having, at about 4 weeks, to remove everything. Like every 2 days, I would just remove it all. I'd vacuum and sweep. And then I'd put clean shavings down in there, because the smell and the dust from that is just atrocious. So when we started, I'm like, I want something where I can clean this every day, but I don't like the idea of, we did not like straw. I didn't want to do wood chips, because if they got wet, you know, and it could be just their water dish getting wet, or just from, you know, them going to the bathroom and stuff. The smell, the mildew, attracting bugs, all that stuff. So I was like, hey, Log Home Dad, can you build me something to go, a board to go underneath their roost? And he was like, yeah, so no problem. And he did that, and man, so every day I got to scrape the board, which is a pain. But it, you know, it takes me just a few minutes, and I cannot imagine that accumulating over days or a month. Or some people, like I said, they don't they change their shavings or their pine straw like twice a year, and I'm like, that is so not healthy for the chickens. That's not healthy for you to be breathing in. I couldn't imagine. So every day we come out and we scrape that board down, and I have a little scoop, because we have sand in there. And I have a little scoop. I just scoop up the sand on any droppings they've had on the sand. And I do the same in the run. I just scoop up those, and I just want a nice sanitary area for them. But I couldn't imagine not, because there was this, like, I watched this one homesteaders that had this, oh goodness, it was like one of those shades that you put on your porch, that comes down on your porch, and they had it underneath the roost, right? And this shade, of course, it would, you know, sink more and more and more, but they would do it once a month. So then they would take the two ends of the shade together and take it out and empty it all at once. And I'm like, that's a lot of poop. Like, it's a lot. I can't imagine doing that just once a month. And of course you attract flies, you attract all kinds of stuff. So we were like, what are we going to do? And so I'm like, I want to be able to clean that every day. And so I do. And I can't imagine otherwise, because boy, what a mess that would be. And they poop a lot, y'all, like a lot. They're like kids. All right, so let's see what we got today. Let me turn y'all around. Hope y'all are having a great day, by the way. It's beautiful here. I think it was like 65 earlier. I was aggravating my friend up in Alaska. He is hilarious. And if y'all don't follow him, go follow him. And I'll put his link in the comments later. But I forget what he said exactly, but I'm like, are y'all like seriously making fun of me? Because I'm freezing here. Like, they are so, we're like 60, it was 64. And so 64 is like freezing here. And, you know, they're negative something. I don't know. All y'all have been negative something. Hey, honey. Hi, Cynthia. Yeah. Hey, Kathy. Yeah. Y'all are like freezing, and the rest of the world in Florida's down here going, hey, y'all. No, it's been cold. But I am like, I wear no shoes. Like, I could be barefoot all the time. And so even to have to put fuzzy socks on in the house and stuff is like, "Argh." So I am just like freezing. So this morning I'm sitting here freezing and I'm reading his post on his page and I'm like, you making fun of us Florida folk? Because I'm freezing. What is that? It says 74 for Thursday. Woo-hoo! 74! Doggone. So we're actually, this is like our coolest day. The next few days we're getting up to like 78, 79, and 80. And we're going to stay like that for a week and a half. I don't know if this is permanent or if it's going to go back to the way it was, but it's just like, and you know, I get the worst sick when it does that, when it goes back and forth like that. I don't know if it's the pollen counts. Things are budding out right now that wouldn't normally, like I have this beautiful azalea that's probably a good 6 foot wide and around, and it's probably 6 foot tall. I mean, it's big, and it's just got blooms all over it. And I'm like, it doesn't know. Like, this is winter. So it's just crazy. And we've got several things like that. I've got everything budding out, and then we get a big freeze and I lose everything. So I hate that. I had my whole flower bed last year. We got a freeze 2 nights in a row, and even covered it, completely killed my entire flower bed. It actually took out 2 of my flowering bushes in there that I've had forever, and for whatever reason they just were gone. So it's like, really? Let me turn off this Wi-Fi real fast. All right, so 72. Woo! Oh my goodness, that is a big up. Goodness gracious. You know, we never know what we're gonna get. It's just crazy, and it's been really warm, and then we get this. So I don't know, but today is gorgeous. Like, I would love to be out riding my bike today. It is so pretty outside. I've had so much to do. I wanted to come out and get some seeds started, and I hadn't even got that started yet. So I got to get that done this week. Like, I've got to get my seeds started in our greenhouse. We built this greenhouse, and we just I've got to get seeds in there. So we got soil and stuff, to starter soil for them, and I've got all my seeds. I just got to lay everything out and get ready. So much is going on around me, y'all. Like, we live on 2 acres, y'all see. But like, I can hear the traffic up at the road. There's these people are building behind us, and it's driving us crazy. I can't even believe that the county gave them permission to do this, but they're building a building back there. So I got all this distractions on around me because I'm like seeing all this. And then I can hear the road up here, and it's because it's not far. It's only it's probably 350 feet from me. So the road's not far, but we're enough back here where we're like in our own little world. So we have our little 2-acre oasis. So, all right, I'm gonna turn y'all around, and we're gonna get busy with our chickening today. I know my babies are seeing their food and they're going crazy. There they are. Did y'all see the picture I put on? I put a picture on of baby Rose and baby Mosley so far. Hey, darlings. Mama brought them out some food. They were kind of low, and they always appreciate it when I bring them food out. So we try to bring it. That's where the most will fill it, because I don't want anything happening if it were to, for whatever reason, get damp, or, you know, I don't want to promote any kind of bacteria. So it's not quite half full. It's probably about 1/3 is what we fill it. Let's see what we got today. Oh boy. So hey, Miss Cora, what are you doing pecking me? So one of our Easter eggers did not lay. Everybody else I've got an egg from. Goodness gracious. So these lighter brown eggs, these are from my Jersey Giants, which is Miss Anna and Miss Violet. There's Miss Violet. And then the darker brown eggs, which that one's got funny end, those are from my reds here. And then my Easter eggers lay like a green, tealy green color egg. So it depends on their breed as to what eggs they lay, what colored eggs they lay. So all eggs, I know y'all have heard me say this before, all eggs start out in a chicken white. And the last 4 hours of egg production in their bodies determines their color. They add the pigmentation to it. So it depends on the breed as to what pigmentation gets added to the egg. So that's a pretty cool thing, right? Who would think it? So let's see what we got. Oh boy. Now I didn't bring them a ton out because it is a little later, but they've already eaten. I brought that food out earlier and they ate that. So they're going to be thrilled with whatever I give them. And their mealworms should be here today. I have a 5-pound bag of mealworms coming. Y'all, I am curious as to how big a 5-pound bag is, because I think the biggest I've ever bought, Miss Rose, is a pound before. So I'm curious as to how big this 5-pound is going to be. It's going to be funny. But they love them so much, I decided to go ahead and get bigger, bigger quantity of them. There's no mealworms on there. Sorry, y'all. Amazon hasn't come yet. They're so funny. She's mad because her boyfriend's gone away. She ain't laying no eggs. Oh gosh, they hated Mr. Carson. You could tell they were so afraid of him. He was so big. When he would get on top of them, Miss Violet, I had to get her a saddle for quite a long time because he literally, he had her back all scratched up. He was so big, and he was crushing her, and it was just really sad to watch. And we're like, God, we gotta get him out here before he hurts one of these babies. He's just too big. So they're different chickens since he's gone, since he got out of the coop. They just act so different. And even today, I think they know he's gone. Like, they know that he's not even here. They love cauliflower, you guys. Like, they love it. Look at that. They have torn that up already. Goodness gracious, little vultures. They're my tiny raptors. Poor babies. A saddle. Yeah, so Miss Isabel here has a saddle on, and it just helps them. So when they get a raw spot on their back, they either pick at it, and sometimes hens do it to themselves when they're Brody because they're like wanting to nest. But sometimes it is from them getting hurt or whatever. And what happens once that happens, you get a raw spot, the other hens want to peck at it because all they see is something raw. They're not trying to hurt her. It's just, so it's like a lot of times when I come in, I don't come in, I actually kind of stopped wearing my bracelets for a long time because they like to peck at it because they just see something and they just go after it. So it's not really a mean thing. It's just there, and they peck at it. But that saddle helps them from pecking, and then the pin feathers will all grow back. So it's just really nice covering, and it gives them time to get their pin feathers grown back. And some people, they do keep them on longer if they've got some kind of condition. But it's just a really neat, I love it. It goes right around their wings. It's super easy to put on. You just got to get them sit down with them between your legs, and put their wings through an elastic loop here at the top. And then that goes right around it, and it lays right on their back. So I love it. I think it is like the most amazing thing. And I definitely recommend it. So it just helps them from being all naked and the other hens picking on them, or getting more hurt by the roosters from their spurs and claws. So it's pretty neat. More for us. Do you ever get snakes in your coop or run? Oh, that's a great question. So funny thing, we built the coop. And it was like the first week or two that they were in it, we left. And Lock Home Dad, let me tell you, he built this coop from no plans or nothing. He had it, he's so funny because he'll say, I had plans, and then he points to his head. He cracks me up. And he did an amazing, spectacular job. We've got wire going down. He's got the bottom sealed, all this, so any little hole, anything. And if you even see like the hard wire cloth, he even screwed it in instead of staple it, just to keep, because if something were to get on there, they could rock a staple off. So the hardware cloth, he even screwed it in. I mean, he put hardware cloth on any little thing. So, I mean, it is buttoned up tight. And we went away for the first time. We just went camping for the weekend. And my daughter calls us, and she says, she's like hysterical. There is a black snake, because we didn't have the run here yet. They were just small. They were only like 4 months old. So there was a black snake, and it was the entire length of the side of the coop. And she's like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And of course me, we're women. The Bible tells us we're going to fear snakes, right? And we got to do something about that. So I'm like, get a shovel. And her dad says, no, just scare it off. And I said, you can't scare it off. It'll come back. Well, so she's like, I'll call you back. And she called back like shaking. So her Facebook post was hilarious. She wrote that she sees a snake and she blacked out, and next thing she know, it's in a million pieces and she has a shovel in her hand. So, and she made it sound a lot funnier, but it was pretty funny. So she ended up killing the snake. She said she went to go shoo it off, and she had the shovel in her hand and she was kind of shooing it off, and it come back at her. And when it did, she just freaked out and chopped it up. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But so that happened like 2 weeks after we put them in the coop for the first time. And, woo, I almost fell backwards. That happened about 2 weeks after we put them in the coop first time. We have not seen a snake out here since. Now, I've just said that. Y'all know that I'm going to get off with you and there's going to be a snake somewhere. And so I just think it's hilarious. And she, poor thing, she posts that on her Facebook page, you know, and she's 30 and she's friends with lots of people her age. And of course, she got attacked terribly. And she was like, look, these are my parents' babies. I was in charge of them, and I would do anything to protect them. So I really don't want to hear about it. Y'all, oh my gosh. Okay, so hang on. Let me see if I can get it. There's a pileated woodpecker. And if y'all don't know what pileated woodpecker is, it's what Woody Woodpecker. Look at it, look at it, look at it. It's what Woody, oh, there's 2 of them, y'all. It's what Woody Woodpecker was modeled after. They are about 18 inches to 24 inches tall. We have a pair that comes back every year. This is the first time I have seen them this year. Oh my goodness, do y'all see them? So there's one on that tree. The other one just flew. The one is on this tree right here. There it is, there it is, there it is. Do y'all see it? Where is it? Where is it? Do you see it climbing up? Can y'all see it? Doggone. There it is, there it is. Y'all see it? Y'all see it? So that is a pileated woodpecker. Like I said, it is what Woody Woodpecker is modeled after. And the first time when we moved here, I had no idea they were here. I thought I was seeing things, you guys. I gotta turn it back around to zoom back out. Oh my goodness, it's the first time I've seen him. That is so cool. He just flew. Oh, let me see if I can get a better view of VR. Y'all, he got on a tree that's a little bit. There we go, y'all. Do you see it? Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm kind of shaking a little. So that one I would say is about 20 inches high. Not quite 2 feet. And so they're pileated woodpeckers mate. I actually did a blog post on them a few years ago. Pileated woodpeckers mate. They're a pair. And so they come back every year wherever they mate, and then their offspring typically come back. I think last year we had 5 of them. It's hard to hold it still when I'm zoomed in so much. I don't even see them now. Oh my goodness, you guys. How exciting is that? I'm so excited. Oh my goodness, he's way up in the tree now. We've got pileated woodpeckers. We got like 3 different varieties of woodpeckers here, breeds of woodpeckers. We've got hawk, we got falcon. We've got coyotes, bobcat, foxes, of course, raccoons and possums, you know, like crazy. But it's because everything, like I said, I can hear and see everything going around us. Everything's built up around us. So there are 4 of us neighbors here, and there's 10 acres total with the 4 neighbors. So we've got like our little oasis. And we even had a black bear one time. It was so awesome. He got in my garbage. He had a peanut butter thing stuck on his snout. It was so funny. And so we've had, I mean, everything comes to us because of everything being built up around us. So we get everything. It's just insane how much stuff, wildlife we see. And snakes, so we were talking about snakes. I mean, we get a lot of snakes. I just haven't seen them around the coop. We even have a den of coral snakes that live on our property and on our neighbor's property. There was one summer he killed 8 and we killed 3. And so they live underground. One of them, Log Home Dad killed in our garden. We were out gardening and I felt something come up and slap my hand. And I was like, what in the world? And I looked down and it was a coral snake. And I was like, oh my gosh. And Log Home Dad is like, is it a coral or is it a king? And I'm like, doggone it, I don't remember the rhyme, but I'm like, kill it. And I'm on my phone and it was a coral snake. So we had to kill it and dispose of it and everything. But yeah, so we get a lot of wildlife here. It is insane. And that's why our chickens are not in free range them. We thought we were going to free range, but with the coyote and everything, it's like we can't free range. It's just crazy. So let me see what all y'all are saying here, y'all. Yep, I see the woodpecker. Oh my gosh. So do you take every day? Do you take every day? Do I clean every day? Is that what you mean? Oh, duckies, I love it. We had 25 when I was 12. So I clean my coop every day. It's kind of what I was talking about at the very beginning. So missed one day. Okay, let's see. Woodpecker, yay! I'm so glad. Yeah. So I don't like go out to purposely kill the snakes ever. Like, so I don't go out looking and going, oh, let me find a snake. But if it's around the chickens, I'm gonna kill it because they'll come back and they'll find a way in. If it's in my garden, if it's poisonous, I'll kill it. I've let other ones go. So, and we even have a black racer that has lived. We have a huge bed. It's probably 10 feet by 5 feet of fern. And I took the fern out of the wetlands and brought them up and put them around this group of oak trees up front. And we had a black racer that lived in there for a good... He was there for a couple of years. I don't know what ever happened to him. I haven't seen him in a long time. We get the ring neck snakes. They're real little though. They're only like 20 inches or so long. They're real tiny. It look like a worm, but they've got a yellow ring or orange ring around their neck. Goodness, now one thing I have not seen is I have not seen a rattler here. I know we have them because our neighbor has the 5 acres behind us. I was telling y'all about him the other day. If y'all watch Discovery Channel, he's Mike Kennedy on Airplane Repo. His wife has seen diamondbacks on their property. We've not, but they've got a lot more dense woods than we have, and they're butted up against some dense woods too. So that doesn't surprise me in the least that they've seen some rattlers. We have king snakes. We have, of course, like I told you, coral snakes. Trying to think of, oh my gosh, y'all, this was something. So we were, a bunch of kids were here one day, and there's Amazon now. A bunch of kids were here one day, and all of a sudden they come running in. They were playing airsoft guns, and they come running in. They're like, Miss Diane, oh my gosh, there's a big snake. It's a python. And I'm like, what? So I'm running outside. One of them had went beside of our shop. We have a shop in our backyard. That's where we have our business stuff. And they were back there. One of them decided to pee back there. We have indoor plumbing, y'all, but you know how that goes. So he went back there to pee, and he was white when he told me. He's like, it's a python. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, what? And so I go running out at the woods, and this thing, all I saw was a big yellow head, and it was as big as my head. It was huge. And so I was kind of freaking out a little bit, and I messaged Log Home Dad, and he knew the kids were playing airsoft. So I'm telling him, I'm like, you need to come out. That he's up in the bedroom. I'm like, there is a huge snake out here. And he's like, oh yeah, right, whatever. And he thought they were going to get him, when he come out. So he comes out, and he's like, oh my gosh. So we call Mike, our airplane repo guy. He's a class 3 wildlife rehabilitator. He has lots of not exotic stuff, like things he's rescued, but some of it is exotic because of the things he's brought in. So like they call him, he's got a croc that's huge. And I forget even how big it is. It's big though. So anyway, he comes back with his snake bags, and he goes running back to the wetland area there, and it was really overgrown. It was in the summer, and he's wrestling. Like all you see is, I'm not going over there. There's pythons going to grab me and squeeze me and eat me and kill me. And he is in there, and he's wrestling. You can see all the bushes moving and everything. And all of a sudden he comes out with the bag, and this big old snake in the bag. And it was a king snake, you guys. He's like, I have never seen a king snake that big, that old in the wild. It was because it was old, it was that big, and it was discolored because it was so old. And so he brings it out. We're sitting there talking to him at the shop, and look over his back, and there is another king snake. It's like a whole colony or something, like a family, like they know. So another king snake is coming off the top of the shop, and it was only about 5 feet long. This one was a good, I'd say 8 to 10 feet long. It was huge. Like we seriously thought it was a python. And so he reaches up we're standing there and he reaches up and he just grabs that snake and he's standing there holding it as we're all talking. He's got the other one in the bag sitting on the ground and he's got the snake in his hand. And I'm like, so then a few days later, it was about a week or so later, I was like, so, because he was going to try to find a home. He's like, I know I can find a zoo that'll want to take it. And, you know, because it is so old and so big, it's so unusual. It's like, okay, great. So a week or so later, I'm like, so what happened to the snake? You know, did you find someone to take it? And he goes, nah, let it loose on the property. Y'all, like, I am just like dying, you guys. He let that snake loose. I'm just like, I am just cracking up laughing. But yeah, so yeah, we do have snakes. It was the funniest thing, you guys. And then y'all, if you follow it, I don't know if you, so I'm telling y'all all kinds of stories. So then about 2.5 years ago, I don't know if y'all saw the news. Y'all might have even seen me on the news because I was on Good Morning America. I think it was Good Morning America and I didn't see it. My aunt sent it to me. So he, like I said, he's a class 3 wildlife rehabilitator, and a storm had come and fell on his, a tree had fallen on his shop, on the corner, and it damaged one of his cages that he has snakes in. And he had this cobra, king cobra. I think he was about 12 feet long. He had that one, I can't remember how long he was, but he was huge. And it's a king cobra, and it had fallen. The king cobra got out. And he searched and searched for his king cobra because they're very, in the winter, you know, they're very docile and they're slow moving. So he thought for sure it was still in the shop, and he searched and searched and searched, and he had to call Florida Wildlife because that's part of being a class 3 wildlife rehabilitator. That got brought illegally into the United States through the Miami airport, and they called him and he went and picked it up. So he couldn't find it. And I'm like, so Florida Wildlife came to our door and they're like, oh my gosh. And so this went on. I mean, Log Home Dad and I are both like, we're going to find that snake on our property. Like, we were constantly looking for it. We would stand up on the balcony and kind of look out, you know, because it's big. I mean, it's a huge snake. So we're going to find it. And so now 2 months had went by. And of course, we've got news at our end of our driveway, and they even showed up at our doorstep, like at 7 o'clock in the morning one morning on our doorstep. They had cameras set up and everything. And so, you know, that lasted for about a month. Well, about 2 months later, and about 4 days into the king cobra being missing. So y'all might have heard about it on the news. So about 4 days into the king cobra being missing, we heard, or it might have been only like 2 days. It was really soon. And Log Home Dad heard something in his shop when he went in there, and he heard it up in the ceiling. We got those drop ceiling tiles, you know, and so he went down to our neighbor's house, and wildlife was there, Florida Wildlife was there, and he's telling him, he's like, hey, you know, Mike, can you come down and look at this? And he's like, sure, buddy. Well, Florida Wildlife's like, no, we've got some more questions for him. We'll send a couple of officers down. So a couple of officers came back with them, and we have a little access, and he popped up the tile, and he kind of took his flashlight, and he's like, he wouldn't be up here. And that was it. They didn't go up there, nothing. And so 2 months later, 2 months, y'all, Log Home Dad goes into the shop, and when he walked in the door, he heard something. It was a huge slither. And he's like, so he calls Mike, and now, you know, of course, the Florida Wildlife's gone. It's been 2 months. The news stations are gone, all this stuff. And he calls him, and they come out, and he gets up there. Mike gets up in the shop attic, and you could hear, or Log Home Dad said he let out a couple wordy dirds and come down with the snake skin, y'all. So it was there, and then I guess the commotion of them, you know, going up there and stuff, it had gotten out. They found it about a week later in someone's garage in the neighborhood, like behind ours. So it took him a week to go that far, but we think he was in our shop the entire time. I would have died. I would. And you know, king cobra, come on, this is a deadly snake. Like, I am just like, oh my gosh. So it was a big skin. I can't even remember how long the skin was. I want to say it was 12 feet, 11 feet or something. So it was a big, I think the snake is 10 feet, and I think the skin was 11 because it, you know, it has to stretch out when it's coming off and everything. So, yep, so that's kind of our excitement of living here in our little couple of acres. Oh my gosh, what are y'all saying to me? My mama shot one. I have to get my glasses on. You saw my woodpecker? Hate snakes, hate snakes. Aren't those the poison ones? Well, the king cobras are. So it was something else. Y'all, I just got all kinds of delivery people coming today. FedEx has been here, Amazon, and now UPS. Goodness gracious. All right, well, I am going to let y'all go. I told y'all a lot of stories. I need to start putting these on my blog. Like, these would be awesome blog posts. I need to start doing that. So, well, thanks for hanging with me today. The babies look like they've eaten all their goodies. Let me turn you around here. So they've eaten all their goodies. We got interrupted by the woodpecker. Look at that. They finished off the cauliflower. They're wanting to peck my phone. Y'all can't peck my phone now. Goodness. Okay, y'all. Well, you have a super day, and we will see you. Maybe I'll have y'all some more stories tomorrow. All right, y'all have a super blessed day. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.